Chosen One. If your eyes are on this message, it is not coincidence, it is divine appointment. Heaven has aligned this moment with precision because you are standing at the edge of a supernatural financial breakthrough, a divine wealth transfer prepared long before you were born. The Spirit is stirring, pulling you into revelation, into awakening, into inheritance. For it is written, "The blessing of the Lord makes rich, and he adds no sorrow with it." Today, chosen one, you step into that blessing. This is a holy moment. Open your spirit. Something is being released over you right now. Chosen one, when this moment finds you, it is not coincidence. It is like a sacred wind brushing against your spirit, reminding you that something is shifting in the unseen realm. There are seasons in life when you walk without understanding why you feel you don't belong anywhere, why you don't fit into the rhythms that others call normal. But chosen one, that is the first sign. The awakening, a movement that rises from the deepest part of your soul, where you begin to realize that you are not lost, you are being led into the inner chambers of a plan greater than anything you've ever imagined. I don't write this from theory or empty knowledge. I have stood exactly where you're standing now. I have lived through seasons where everything familiar began to break apart, relationships grew distant, and old comforts no longer brought peace. You feel as if the world around you is collapsing, piece by piece. But trust me, this is not destruction. This is alignment. This is the moment the veil begins to lift and you start to see with spiritual eyes instead of natural ones. There were times in my own journey when I didn't understand why God was removing certain people from my life, or why doors that once felt open suddenly slammed shut. I felt isolated, misunderstood, even rejected, but chosen one. I learned that solitude is not punishment. It is preparation. It is the sacred place where heaven speaks the loudest, the place where distractions die and destiny rises. You may be experiencing that same inner shaking right now, that quiet knowing that your spirit is waking up, that sense that your life is being stripped of everything that no longer aligns with who you are becoming. And while it may feel uncomfortable, even painful, it is the evidence that God is reshaping you from the inside out. He is not removing what you need. He is removing what was limiting you. The awakening does not always start with fireworks. Sometimes it begins with loss, sometimes with betrayal, sometimes with a sudden shift you never saw coming. But what feels like breaking is actually birthing. You're not falling apart. You're shedding the version of yourself that was too small for the calling you were destined to carry. As this awakening grows, your perception sharpens. You start noticing things others overlook. You discern motives, atmospheres, and spiritual currents without needing words. And when that happens, some people will not understand you. They are still asleep. They are still attached to the versions of themselves that you have already outgrown. But you, chosen one, you have awakened. And once awakened, there is no going back. Your mind begins to expand in ways that defy logic. You don't just think differently, you receive differently. Ideas come suddenly. Clarity arrives without explanation. Dreams carry messages. Signs appear in ordinary moments. This is not imagination. This is insight from above whispered into your spirit, because heaven knows you are ready. But with revelation comes responsibility. You cannot unknow what God has shown you. You cannot fit back into places that no longer hold your spirit. Certain relationships, habits, environments, and attachments will naturally fall away, not because you hate them, but because they cannot come with you into the next dimension of your assignment. Chosen one, this stage of your journey demands both courage and surrender. It will test the strength of your faith and the clarity of your identity. The enemy doesn't attack those who are asleep. He attacks those who are awakening. If your battles have intensified, it is not a sign of weakness, but of the power rising within you. This awakening is not a moment. It is a doorway, and once you walk through it, nothing will ever be the same. Chosen one. Once the awakening begins, heaven starts rearranging the landscape of your life. And one of the clearest, most painful, yet most divine signs of your calling is this rejection. Not the rejection that comes from failure, but the kind that finds you even when you've done nothing wrong. The kind that shadows your childhood, your teenage years, your adulthood, a pattern that makes you wonder, why am I always the outsider? I used to ask that same question. I remember walking into rooms and sensing the shift, feeling the atmosphere tighten, noticing how some people grew uncomfortable without me saying a single word. At first, I thought something was wrong with me, but over time I realized it wasn't me. It was the light I carried. It was the oil that heaven had placed on my life, long before I understood what it meant. Chosen one. Your rejection is not random. It is revelation. You were never meant to blend in because blending in would have buried your assignment. The people who walked away did not hurt your destiny. They protected it. Their absence made room for divine alignment, even when it felt like abandonment. You may look back and see friendships that suddenly faded, family members who misunderstood your heart, co-workers who treated you differently for no explainable reason. You may remember moments where people labeled you too intense, too sensitive, too spiritual, or simply too much. But hear this clearly, you were never too much. You were too awakened for their level of sleep. Some of them rejected you because your presence exposed what they were trying to hide. Others pulled away because your authenticity made their illusions tremble. And some resisted you because the anointing on your life stirred something in them they were not ready to confront. When you carry divine purpose, even your silence speaks. Even your presence shifts atmospheres. Even your quietness disrupts the plans of darkness. That is why certain people felt uneasy around you. Not because you were wrong, but because you were chosen. I learned this truth the hard way. There were seasons where I begged God to explain why people I loved suddenly turned cold, why connections that felt meaningful dissolved overnight. Why I could pour love, loyalty, and sincerity into relationships and still be met with distance. But one day in prayer, I heard a quiet whisper in my spirit. I removed them so you could see me. Chosen one. Sometimes God lets people exit because their presence would interfere with your elevation. Not everyone can handle the future you. Not everyone can walk beside the anointed version of you. Some were only assigned to the earlier chapters of your story, not the chapters you are stepping into now. The truth is, this being chosen means being set apart, not for punishment, but for preparation. Those seasons of feeling invisible, they were training. Those moments of loneliness, they were sanctification. Those heartbreaks, they were divine detoxes removing what your spirit had outgrown. And while others chase applause, you chase truth. While others seek validation, you seek alignment. While others cling to comfort you, cling to calling. That is why rejection follows the chosen, not to break them, but to shape them. Chosen one, you carry a mantle that others can sense even before you fully understand it. Darkness detects your assignment long before you walk in it. That is why you faced resistance that didn't make sense, attacks that came out of nowhere, misunderstandings that seemed unfair, spiritual pressure that felt disproportionate to your situation. But this opposition is not a sign that you are weak. It is evidence that you are powerful. Hell does not fight what is harmless. Hell fights what is holy. You are a threat, chosen one, not because of what you've done, but because of who you are becoming. The more you awaken, the more the unseen realm reacts. People you thought were for you may show their true colors. Environments that once felt peaceful may feel heavy. Even the things you used to enjoy may suddenly feel foreign, but do not fear this transition. This is your spiritual separation, your divine filtering, your holy repositioning. Remember this: God removes to refine, but He isolates to elevate. When I walked through my own season of separation, I felt stripped. I felt exposed. I wondered if I had done something wrong. But in hindsight, it was the greatest gift heaven ever gave me, because without that pruning, I would have remained in environments that suffocated my growth. Without that removal, I would have stayed connected to people who could not accompany me into purpose. Without that rejection, I would have ignored my calling. Chosen one. This is where your journey shifts. This is where divine identity emerges. This is where heaven begins to reveal why the isolation was necessary. You are not being pushed away, you are being pulled higher. And in this elevation, everything, your relationships, your priorities, your desires will begin to transform. That transformation is the next sign. Chosen one, as you rise from the ashes of rejection and step into the clarity of your awakening, another sign of your divine identity begins to unfold, the sharpening of your spiritual sight. This isn't ordinary intuition. This isn't a lucky guess or a sudden thought. This is the gift of discernment, the deep inner knowing that whispers truth before facts appear, that reveals motives before words are spoken, that senses danger before it arrives. This gift didn't come to you by accident. It was placed inside you because of the mantle you carry. I remember the moment I first realized this gift was operating in me. I couldn't explain it, but I could feel when something wasn't right. I would walk into a room and immediately pick up the emotional and spiritual atmosphere. I could sense heaviness where others sensed nothing, feel tension. Others overlooked, discern intentions hidden behind friendly smiles. At the time, I didn't celebrate it. I questioned it. I doubted myself. I wondered why I seemed to feel too much. But with time, I understood. Chosen ones don't just see with their eyes, they see with their spirit. And now, chosen one, you are beginning to see this in yourself. You're starting to notice that your spiritual senses are becoming sharper. You discern the difference between who is genuine and who is pretending. You feel the shift when someone's words don't match their spirit. You detect the atmosphere in a room before anyone speaks, and often without trying, you uncover truth that others are trying desperately to hide. This is not sensitivity. This is spiritual intelligence. Chosen one. Heaven is trusting you with a higher level of awareness, and with this awareness comes responsibility. You can no longer pretend not to notice what you notice. You can no longer tolerate what drains your spirit. You can no longer ignore the nudges, the warnings, the confirmations that the Holy Spirit gives you. There are moments when God shows you something not so you confront it, but so you can prepare, protect, and posture yourself in wisdom. The world teaches people to react. Heaven teaches chosen ones to discern. There were seasons in my own life when God revealed things to me long before they surfaced in the natural. I would sense betrayal before betrayal happened. I would feel spiritual warfare days before the attack manifested. I would know when someone's intentions toward me changed, even if they kept smiling to my face. And for a long time, I wished I didn't feel all of this. It was heavy. It was lonely. It separated me even more from people. But one day I heard these words in my spirit. Discernment is not a burden. It is protection. And chosen one, that's exactly what it is for you. You're not overthinking. You're not imagining things. You're not too suspicious. You are anointed, and your spirit is detecting things before your mind understands them. When heaven marks you, heaven also warns you. This is why you often feel something shift before it shifts. This is why someone's voice can sound different to you, even if their words stay the same. This is why you suddenly lose peace around certain people or environments. This is why you sometimes wake up in the middle of the night with a heaviness in your spirit, not fear, but spiritual alertness. It is your divine radar activating your spiritual sight, making sure you don't step into traps designed for people who can't discern. Chosen one. The enemy rarely comes in obvious ways. Darkness disguises itself in familiarity and comfort, in distraction in people who seem harmless. But you carry a sensitivity that exposes what others overlook. Even your dreams speak. Even your silence speaks. Even your discomfort is a message. The gift of discernment will not make your life easier, but it will make your purpose unstoppable. And here's something I learned in my own journey. Not every truth God shows you is meant to be spoken aloud. Some truths are meant to guide your steps, not your conversations. There were moments when I saw the real intention behind someone's actions, yet God instructed me to stay silent, not because I was weak, but because silence was strategy. Some revelations are for your wisdom, not for confrontation. Some insights are warnings, not invitations to battle. Heaven doesn't reveal everything so you can fight. Sometimes heaven reveals things so you can avoid the fight altogether. Chosen one. Your discernment is growing because your destiny is expanding. God is training your spirit for the places He is calling you. Higher levels require higher clarity. New assignments require new sensitivity. And you, anointed one, are entering a realm where nothing in your life can be taken at surface level. You will feel more. You will see more. You will know more. And though this can feel overwhelming, it is actually confirmation that you are stepping deeper into your divine identity. But with this new clarity comes the next sign, a sign that often shocks the chosen ones when they first experience it. It is the collision between high favor and high warfare, and that is where your journey now leads. Chosen one, as your discernment sharpens and your spiritual senses awaken, you will encounter another undeniable sign of your calling, the collision between extraordinary favor and extraordinary warfare. This is one of the most confusing seasons for the anointed ones because it feels like your life is living in two realms at once. On one side, doors open that you never touched, opportunities appear that you never chased, and breakthroughs come that you never expected. But on the other side, pressure increases, attacks intensify, and challenges come without warning. Chosen one. This contrast is not a contradiction, it is confirmation. When heaven places favor on your life, hell reacts. When God prepares you for divine promotion, the enemy prepares distraction. When your spiritual authority increases, the resistance increases too. It does not mean you're doing something wrong, it means you're stepping into something right. I've lived through this tension more than once. There were seasons when everything in the natural looked promising. Promotions came out of nowhere, relationships aligned beautifully, new opportunities opened up like a path being carved. Yet at the same time I felt battles rising that I didn't fully understand. Unexpected conflicts, emotional heaviness, attacks against my mind, people turning cold without reason. It felt unfair. It felt confusing. But in prayer, I realized something: the warfare did not come because I was weak. It came because I was rising. Chosen one, you are experiencing the same thing now. You may feel moments of sudden heaviness, like something invisible is pressing against your spirit. You may notice unexpected agitation around you, tension in relationships, or strange resistance appearing right when things start going well. You may even feel tired without knowing why, as if you're carrying something weightier than your natural life explains. This is spiritual pressure, not personal failure. The enemy does not waste energy on someone who poses no threat. He fights the ones carrying destiny. He fights the ones with influence in the spirit. He fights the ones who are stepping into divine timing. And you, chosen one, are stepping into it now. But here's the part many people don't understand. The presence of warfare is actually a sign that heaven is releasing something powerful over you. The enemy attacks where he senses movement. When something is getting ready to break open for your life, you'll feel the tension before the breakthrough arrives. Just like a storm gathers before rain falls, spiritual resistance rises before blessings manifest. And often the warfare will feel personal, not because you've done anything wrong, but because your assignment is personal. Your voice carries weight. Your presence brings clarity. Your obedience breaks cycles. There are things tied to your destiny that the enemy cannot afford to let you activate. But here's the truth: he cannot stop what God has ordained. He can only try to distract you long enough to delay you. In my own walk, there were times when I felt like giving up. The warfare was intense, the pressure felt heavy, and I questioned whether I was strong enough to keep going. But each time, right when the weight felt unbearable, God would send confirmation, a moment of grace, a whisper of clarity, a sudden shift in my spirit. And I realized that the warfare was never meant to break me. It was meant to reveal what was already inside me. Chosen one. The same is true for you. This battle is not exposing your weakness. It is exposing your strength. It is awakening parts of you that comfort never could. It is refining the fire inside you, not extinguishing it. You are not being attacked because you are fragile. You are being attacked because you are powerful. You are closer to breakthrough than you think. Every delay you've faced, every setback you've endured, every emotional battle you've pushed through, all of it is evidence that something significant is about to shift for you. Divine timing is unfolding. Heaven is aligning things in the background. The blessings that felt out of reach are drawing closer. The opportunities that seemed unreal are coming into view. And once you understand this warfare no longer intimidates you, it informs you. It tells you that the blessing is near, the elevation is close, and the supernatural transfer is already in motion. In this place of tension between favor and fire, something in you changes. You stop fearing the storm and start recognizing its purpose. You stop asking why me and start understanding because I am chosen. And once you reach this revelation, the next sign begins to unfold, the deep, unshakable connection between your spirit and the presence of God. Chosen one. As you walk through the tension between favor and warfare, something even deeper begins to awaken within you. It is subtle at first, almost quiet, like a familiar voice you haven't heard in years. But slowly, it grows clearer, warmer, more undeniable. This is the sign that sets the chosen apart from everyone else, the unshakable, almost magnetic pull you feel toward the presence of God. And this pull has been with you longer than you realize. Even when you drifted something in, you always reached back for the divine. Even when life distracted you, your spirit never completely disconnected. You could be surrounded by chaos, but a part of you still longed for peace. You could be caught in confusion, but something in you still sought clarity. While others chased noise, your soul yearned for stillness. While others lived on the surface, You craved depth. Chosen. 1. This is not normal. This is identity. I remember the first time I realized just how different my connection to God was. I wasn't praying because someone told me to. I wasn't worshipping out of habit. I wasn't searching for answers because of fear. I was simply drawn, pulled by something I could not explain. In the quiet, I felt understood. In the presence of God, I felt seen. No conversation with a human being ever matched the way his presence settled my heart. And I know you've felt that too. You may not have always called it God. Sometimes you called it intuition, peace, inner guidance, or simply a knowing. But whatever name you used, it was Him. It has always been Him. The shepherd guiding the sheep. The light guiding the path, the whisper guiding your decisions, even when you weren't fully aware. There were moments when you should have fallen apart, but something held you together. Moments when you should have walked away from faith, but something pulled you back. Moments when you felt empty, but one breath of His presence filled you again. That something was God. That pull was God. That strength was God. Chosen one. The relationship you have with God is not common. It is personal, intimate, and sacred. This is why you've never been able to settle for shallow living. It's why you feel spiritually suffocated in environments without truth. It's why your spirit reacts to dishonesty, manipulation, or hidden darkness. Your soul recognizes what your eyes cannot see, because your connection is not merely emotional, it is spiritual. And with every battle you've faced, this connection has been growing stronger. Most people grow distant from God in hardship, but you are the opposite. Pain pushed you closer. Trials refined you. Loneliness sanctified you. Every valley became a place where you heard Him more clearly. Every storm became a place where you leaned on Him more heavily. You didn't know it at the time, but those moments were shaping your identity as a true anointed one. I remember one season in my life when everything felt uncertain, plans fell apart, relationships shifted, opportunities disappeared. And instead of feeling abandoned, I felt surrounded, not by people, but by God. It was as if the less I had externally, the more I received internally. I discovered that losing things made room for Him, and chosen one, that is the same transformation happening in you. This connection you carry is not just for comfort, it is preparation. Because those who walk closely with God walk confidently into purpose. Those who hear Him clearly cannot be deceived easily. Those who feel His presence cannot be manipulated by darkness. Those who move with Him walk into rooms with spiritual authority without ever raising their voice. Your connection is a compass guiding you into divine alignment. Sometimes it guides you away from opportunities that look good outwardly but carry spiritual danger. Sometimes it pulls you toward decisions that seem illogical but are perfectly aligned with your destiny. Sometimes it warns you about people before their true intentions surface. Sometimes it gives you peace in places where others feel fear. This connection is your advantage, but it is also the reason why your journey has never looked like everyone else's. You are not just living life. You are walking destiny. You are not just surviving seasons. You are being trained. You are not just believing in God. You are partnering with Him. And when a chosen one walks in partnership with heaven, something extraordinary begins to unfold: the release of the spiritual authority you were born to carry. The kind of authority that shifts atmospheres, transforms environments, and breaks generational patterns simply by your presence. That is the next sign you are about to experience. Chosen one, as your connection with God deepens, something extraordinary begins to rise from within you, something you may not fully recognize yet, but others have sensed for years. It is the quiet, undeniable spiritual authority you carry. Not authority based on title, position, or appearance, but the kind that comes from alignment, refinement, and divine assignment. You've likely noticed it in small ways. People come to you for advice, even when you never announce that you're wise. Strangers open up to you without explanation. Friends say they feel peace when you enter a room. Children gravitate toward you. Animals stay still around you. Environments shift subtly in your presence. These are not coincidences. This is spiritual influence. I remember moments in my own life when I walked into a room and conversations changed immediately. Not because I was intimidating, but because my presence made hidden things uncomfortable. Some people looked relieved, others looked unsettled. I didn't understand it then, but now I see it clearly. The light in you exposes what darkness tries to conceal. Chosen one, your authority is not loud. It is not forceful, it is not theatrical, it is quiet, pure, and deeply felt. And that type of authority is the hardest for darkness to resist. You may have wondered why certain people reacted negatively toward you without reason. Why someone you barely know felt threatened. Why a co-worker you treated kindly competed with you. Why someone tried to undermine you even when you did nothing wrong. It wasn't personal, it was spiritual. Your authority confronted their insecurity. Your clarity confronted their confusion. Your presence confronted their pretenses. And yet this authority is not something you cultivate through ego. It is something you cultivate through surrender. Notice how your authority increased after difficult seasons, after heartbreak, after disappointments, after spiritual battles. It wasn't the suffering that empowered you, it was your response to it. Every time you chose forgiveness over bitterness, humility over pride, obedience over fear, your authority grew. Every time you protected your peace, every time you walked away from chaos, every time you listened to God instead of listening to noise, heaven added another layer to your mantle. Chosen one. Authority is not granted in moments of comfort. It is forged in pressure. Think about the times you were misunderstood, dismissed, or underestimated. Those moments didn't weaken you, they refined you. Every tear became oil. Every battle became training. Every closed door became redirection. You weren't losing. You were being shaped into someone who carries weight in the spirit. And now, without trying, you operate on a higher frequency. People feel it even when you don't speak. You don't need to convince anyone of who you are. Your spirit speaks for you. Your life speaks for you. Your alignment speaks for you. This authority is why God is preparing you for rooms you've never entered before. It's why certain opportunities will open effortlessly. Not because of your resume or your charisma, but because of the mantle resting on your life. When heaven endorses you, no one can deny you. When God marks you, no one can ignore you. But here's the part few people understand. Authority attracts responsibility. God doesn't give influence to someone who hasn't learned self-control. He doesn't give elevation to someone who hasn't learned humility. He doesn't give power to someone who hasn't learned compassion. And you, chosen one, have been learning all these things, often through painful lessons. You've learned to stay calm under pressure. You've learned to speak gently when provoked. You've learned to love without losing yourself. You've learned to forgive even without apologies. You've learned to walk away without causing harm. You've learned to listen to God before reacting to people. These are the qualities that separate the chosen from the called. Your authority is rising because your character is ready. And soon, this authority will unlock something even deeper, the emergence of your divine identity, the version of yourself that heaven always intended you to become. Chosen one. As your spiritual authority rises, another profound shift begins within you, a shift not everyone will understand, but one heaven has been waiting for. It is the moment you begin to walk in the full truth of your divine identity, not the identity shaped by your past, your family, your failures, or your fears, but the identity heaven wrote about you long before the world even knew your name. This awakening of identity doesn't happen overnight. It comes in waves, sometimes gentle, sometimes disruptive, but always intentional. One day you wake up and realize you are no longer moved by the same things. The voices that once controlled your decisions no longer hold any authority. The validation you used to crave doesn't feel necessary anymore. You begin to see yourself through a different lens, and that lens is truth. Chosen one, this is the version of you that the enemy feared. This is the version of you that rejection tried to bury. This is the version of you that warfare tried to disrupt. But nothing could stop this emergence, because what God ordains cannot be undone by circumstances. I remember when this shift began in my own life. It wasn't loud. It wasn't dramatic. It felt like a quiet confidence settling into my bones. I stopped fighting to prove myself. I stopped watering down my voice to make others comfortable. I stopped apologizing for the light I carried. And as that confidence grew, so did the clarity of who I truly was. Identity for the chosen ones is not built, it is revealed. You don't create who you are. You uncover who God called you to be. And right now, heaven is pulling the real you to the surface. This identity comes with certain signs. You may notice them already. You feel more anchored in your worth, even without external validation. You sense a deeper purpose behind your existence. You feel drawn to environments that nourish your spirit rather than your ego. You hear God's whisper more clearly than the opinions of people. You no longer chase what drains you. You attract what aligns with you. These are not personality changes, they are soul revelations. Your identity is shedding the layers you picked up from the world, the expectations others placed on you, the insecurities planted by your past, the fears shaped by your failures. One layer at a time, you are returning to the version of yourself that God intended healed, whole, aligned, powerful. This is the season when your calling becomes clearer. You may notice certain gifts growing stronger inside you. Wisdom comes more naturally. Discernment feels sharper. Compassion deepens. Your voice carries weight. Your presence commands attention. Ideas and visions flow with ease. These are glimpses of your assignment, not the full picture yet, but enough to confirm that heaven is positioning you for impact. Chosen. One identity brings clarity, but it also brings separation. As you step into who you truly are, you will naturally outgrow people, environments, and habits that once felt familiar. Not because you think you're better, but because your spirit no longer fits into the version of life that kept you small. Growth always creates distance, and identity always creates alignment. Some people won't understand this new version of you. They will misinterpret your confidence as pride. They will call your clarity arrogance. They will accuse your boundaries of being cold, but none of this is personal. They simply don't see what heaven sees. Do not shrink yourself to fit where you no longer belong. Do not dim your light to make others comfortable. Do not apologize for what God is awakening within you. Your identity is a calling, not an option. And as this truth settles inside you, something else begins to stir, a sense that your life is not just changing but accelerating. Opportunities appear that match your new identity. Relationships come that recognize your worth. Doors open that align with your destiny. You begin to see that your journey was never random. Every hardship trained you, every burden shaped you, every season refined you. Chosen one. Your divine identity is the key that unlocks the next phase of your destiny. Once you embrace who you are, you become unstoppable. And now, as this identity strengthens, another sign emerges: the realization that your life is not just shifting inwardly, but preparing for a larger assignment outwardly. This assignment is the next sign. There comes a point in every chosen life where the weight you carry begins to shape you in ways you never expected. Not through applause, not through recognition, but through the quiet pressure of unseen battles. For a long time, you believed the heaviness meant something was wrong with you, that perhaps you were behind, unworthy, or simply not enough. But as you stand here now, looking back at the long road behind you, you begin to understand a truth heaven has been whispering all along. The wait was not punishment. It was preparation. Every chosen one, every anointed one walks through seasons where God seems silent, but is more present than ever. Those were the nights you lay awake asking questions that felt too heavy to say out loud. They were the mornings you got up without strength, but still moved forward. Every step you took in those invisible valleys became a piece of the foundation heaven was building inside you. You didn't see it then, but you were not being buried. You were being rooted. People often assume strength comes from triumph, but chosen ones learn strength in the shadows. You know this intimately. You learned to pray when your voice trembled. You learned to trust when the path disappeared. You learned to breathe through storms that others would have drowned in. And the remarkable thing is this: you carried those burdens quietly. No fanfare, no applause, no recognition. Yet every silent sacrifice was recorded in heaven's book. The world never sees the roots that hold up a mighty tree. It only sees the height. In the same way, people see your glow, but do not understand the depth of the battles that forged it. They notice your resilience, but do not know the hours you spent on your knees. They admire your peace, but do not know how many wars you had to walk through to find it. The fruit of your life is visible, but the formation was hidden. This is what God does with those He calls. He hides them first, not to diminish them, but to deepen them. And in that hiddenness, something sacred happens. Your heart becomes tender. Your discernment sharpens. Your spirit learns to hear God's whisper, even when everything else is loud. You learn the language of silence, the discipline of surrender, and the courage to stand alone. Those lessons cannot be taught in the light. They are born in the unseen. And now something within you is shifting. You can feel it, even if you can't explain it. The weight is slowly lifting, not because your life has suddenly become easy, but because your spirit has expanded enough to carry more without breaking. What crushed you once cannot crush you now. What frightened you before cannot shake you anymore. You have grown, and you have not grown randomly. You have grown with purpose. Every chosen one reaches a moment when the training in the dark begins to reveal its fruit. This is that moment for you. You may not feel ready, but readiness is not a feeling. It is a spiritual condition. You are ready because you have endured the refining process that others ran from. You are ready because you learned to listen when others rushed. You are ready because heaven has placed something inside you that will speak louder than anything you say with your mouth. This next season of your life will not only reveal who you are, it will reveal who God has always been to you. You will walk into spaces that once intimidated you and feel a strange calm settle over you. You will face challenges that would have broken you before and wonder why they no longer shake you. This is what growth in the spirit looks like. It's not loud, it's grounded, it's not for show, it's for purpose. And understand this deeply. Nothing you walked through was wasted. The tears you cried watered your calling. The disappointments refined your motives. The loneliness purified your vision. Even the betrayals served a purpose. They pulled you away from people who could not walk with your destiny. What felt like loss was direction. What looked like rejection was protection. This is the paradox of the chosen. You rise by being broken. You shine by being crushed. You lead by first learning to be alone. You speak with authority because you lived through the lessons you now declare. That is why the weight had to stay on you for as long as it did. It was building something eternal. Many people admire the light, but only heaven sees the furnace where it was formed. You have lived through that furnace. You have endured the heat. And now the glow that sits on your life is not surface, it's substance, it's spiritual weight, it's authority, it's evidence that God has been shaping you for something greater than you imagined. So as you step into this new chapter, hold your head high, not in pride, but in remembrance. Remembrance of what God has carried you through. Remembrance of what you survived without anyone noticing. Remembrance of the battles that made you who you are. And above all, remembrance that you are not stepping forward alone. The same God who sustained you in the shadows is the same God leading you into the light. This part of your journey is no longer about surviving. It is about stepping into alignment with the call that has been written over you since the beginning. The hidden season is over. The foundation is laid. The weight has become strength. And the glow you carry now is not accidental, it is inheritance. Walk forward, chosen one. Walk forward knowing that nothing behind you has been in vain and nothing ahead of you will be without purpose. You are ready. Heaven knows it. Hell fears it. And deep down, your spirit is beginning to recognize it too. There is a moment in every chosen life when the realization settles in. You were not shaped merely to survive, but to carry something weighty, something holy, something that pulls you forward, even when you don't understand where you're going. This is the beginning of your assignment, not the tasks you do not, the title you hold, but the spiritual mandate written over your existence long before the world ever recognized you. Chosen one. This assignment didn't appear suddenly. It has been developing quietly within you through every stage of your life, like a seed growing beneath the earth. When you were a child and felt different from others, the assignment was already stirring. When you were a teenager searching for meaning, it was shaping you. When you became an adult and walked through storms, it was strengthening you. Every moment of uncertainty, every heartbreak, every shift, every silence, all of it was preparation. Assignments are not discovered intellectually, they are revealed spiritually. And often the revelation is not loud, it's subtle. It begins with a restlessness in the soul, an inexplicable pull toward something higher, something deeper, something that feels like destiny calling from a distance. You might have felt it for years, the sense that you are meant for more than the life you've settled for. That something is missing, or perhaps that something is waiting. It is as though your spirit knows a truth your mind has not yet caught up with. This restlessness is not frustration, it is direction. Your assignment is calling. But before a chosen one steps into the fullness of their assignment, heaven takes them through a process of shedding. You've already lived through much of it. You've lost people you thought would stay forever. You've walked away from environments that no longer matched your spirit. You've outgrown identities that once felt like home. These were not coincidences. They were divine interventions, clearing the path for what God is about to place in your hands. There are certain weights you cannot carry into your next season, certain relationships that cannot walk with your destiny, certain habits that cannot survive in the atmosphere of your calling. God knew this long before you did, which is why He allowed things to fall away even when you didn't understand. The shedding was not punishment, it was protection. And now, chosen one, you are standing at the threshold. You may feel uncertain, you may feel unqualified. But assignment has very little to do with qualification and everything to do with alignment. God does not wait for perfection before He releases purpose. He waits for surrender. Assignments are born in the place where your obedience intersects with God's timing. The assignment He is giving you will not look like someone else's. Your calling is not meant to imitate, it is meant to originate. Some chosen ones are called to speak, others are called to heal, some are called to create, others are called to build. Some are sent into families to break patterns. Others are sent into communities to shift atmospheres. And then there are those like you, those who carry influence simply by existing in alignment. Your presence carries a frequency, a vibration that cannot be taught or learned. It is spiritual, it is inherited, it is the signature of your assignment. But every assignment carries weight. And this weight is not the burden of stress, it is the responsibility of purpose. You may have felt it already, the feeling that people look to you for strength even when you feel weak. The way others come to you for clarity even when your own life feels uncertain. The way people confess things to you without knowing why. The way environments shift when you enter the room. These are signs that your assignment is active, even if you haven't fully stepped into it yet. You are not ordinary. You were never meant to blend into the background of life. You were crafted with intention, wired with discernment, shaped through trial, and anointed through endurance. Your assignment is emerging now because you are finally ready to handle what once would have crushed you. But readiness is not the absence of fear. It is the decision to move despite it. The most powerful chosen ones are not the ones who feel confident, they are the ones who feel called. There will be moments when your assignment feels too big. You will question your strength, your wisdom, your timing. You will wonder why God chose you, why the weight is yours. But when you feel this way, remember something essential. The assignment is not carried by your power alone. Heaven carries the part you cannot. You only carry the obedience. Your assignment will begin to reveal itself through clarity. You will start feeling drawn to specific people, ideas, paths, or places without fully understanding why. Your gifts will sharpen naturally. Your intuition will heighten. Your compassion will deepen. The things that once drained you will fall away, and the things that align with your spirit will energize you. These are signs that you are stepping into the exact design of your life. And when you step into assignment, life begins to accelerate. Opportunities come faster. Doors open easier. Paths clear suddenly. Even the resistance you face becomes purposeful, pushing you deeper into alignment rather than knocking you off course. Chosen one. Your assignment is not something you chase, it is something you accept. And when you accept it, heaven backs you with a force you cannot comprehend. Every resource you need begins to appear. Every answer you lacked begins to form. Every wound that held you back begins to heal. This is the supernatural reality of stepping into divine purpose. As you continue on your path, you will notice something powerful. The assignment doesn't just change your life, it changes you. It matures you, strengthens you, elevates you, and expands you into the version of yourself that God intended from the beginning. And once you taste this level of alignment, there is no going back. You cannot shrink into the old version of yourself. You cannot return to smallness. You cannot pretend you are not chosen. You were born with purpose. You were built for impact. And your assignment, your true heaven-written assignment, is beginning now. There comes a season, chosen one, when the journey stops being about what you lost and becomes entirely about who you are becoming. A season when the weight of old identities finally breaks off and your spirit rises into a clarity you once thought was beyond your reach. This is where you stand now, not at the end of your story, but at the beginning of your becoming. For so long, you were focused on survival. You learned how to endure storms, how to navigate people who misunderstood you, how to walk through valleys without losing your heart. But survival was never meant to be your permanent state. It was only the doorway to understanding your true spiritual architecture. What you endured shaped you, but what you are stepping into will reveal you. This is the moment when heaven begins to highlight the parts of yourself you used to overlook. Your courage, your intuition, your compassion, your discernment, your ability to see through situations that confuse others. These are not random traits. They are the building blocks of your calling, and as you rise into greater awareness, you begin to see that your uniqueness was never a flaw. It was preparation. And now the atmosphere around your life is changing. You may feel it in subtle nudges or in sudden shifts, but the truth is the same. You are being positioned, not by man, not by luck, but by divine alignment. Doors you once chased will now open on their own. People who could not see your value before will suddenly recognize it. Paths that were once blocked will be cleared. The resistance that once fought you will begin to lose its power. This is what happens when the chosen step into their ordained season. But with elevation comes responsibility. Not the heavy burden you used to carry, but a deeper sensitivity to purpose. You will find yourself becoming more intentional with your time, your words, your relationships. You will sense when someone is not aligned with your spirit. You will know when an opportunity is not from God. You will feel when a season is closing, even before the signs appear in the natural. This is spiritual maturity, the fruit of everything you walked through. And as you rise, you will notice a new kind of peace settling over you. Not because life becomes easier, but because your spirit becomes stronger. Chaos no longer pulls you out of alignment. Distractions no longer carry the same appeal. You feel grounded, settled, anchored in a way you once prayed for but could never fully grasp. This is the peace that follows transformation. Chosen one. You are stepping into a chapter of divine clarity, a chapter where your inner voice becomes louder than outside noise, where your purpose becomes sharper than your fears, where your identity becomes stronger than any label the world tried to place on you. This is not confidence, this is spiritual knowing. And from this place of knowing, you will begin to influence spaces without trying. You will inspire people without speaking. You will shift atmospheres simply by being present. This is the quiet strength of the chosen. The world sees the glow, but heaven sees the journey that produced it. As you move forward, remember this: you are not called to replicate. You are called to originate. There has never been another you, and there never will be. Your assignment is yours alone, crafted with divine precision, and heaven will not let you miss what belongs to you. Walk boldly now. Walk with reverence. Walk with gratitude for what shaped you, and with expectation for what awaits you. Your story is not peaking, it is unfolding. And the world has yet to witness the full magnitude of the light you carry. Your becoming has just begun. Chosen one. As we come to the end of this message, pause and breathe in the truth settling over your spirit. You have not walked through awakening, rejection, discernment, and spiritual fire for nothing. Heaven has been shaping you, refining you, preparing you for this exact moment. You are standing in your Kairos time, the window where divine purpose meets divine timing, where supernatural transfer begins to unfold in ways your natural mind cannot yet comprehend. Chosen one. What rests on your life is not ordinary. The favor on you is not common. The oil on you is not explainable by earthly logic. You are stepping into a season where what was delayed will now accelerate, where what was hidden will now be revealed, and where what was resisted will finally be released. The blessing has already begun to move toward you. The alignment is already taking shape. The doors are already loosening at their hinges. Heaven is already responding to your yes. Walk forward with reverence, but also with confidence. You have been chosen, anointed, and set apart for impact. Keep your spirit aligned, your heart open, and your faith steady. Expect unusual opportunities, divine connections, and undeniable confirmation. Expect peace where there was pressure and clarity where there was confusion. Expect God to meet you in ways that leave no doubt He has gone before you. If this word touched your spirit, chosen one, you're welcome to declare it in the comments. And if you desire more messages like this, you may stay connected. Until then, remain faithful, remain focused, and remain chosen. May God bless you and keep you in His perfect timing.